in 2016, I felt like a lot of the laners were like pretty bad back then. And no one really knew how to play correctly, but they kind of just had mechanics, so they kind of pulled away with it. But nowadays, it's like people are playing lanes how they should be played, picking things in the right situation for the most part, and the competition is definitely getting harder. But
Hey everybody, my name is Parks Owsley. I am with the Shotcaller, joined today by Lourlo, the top laner for Golden Guardians. You guys had a really rough split. You started off really well. We heard good things from teams for you on scrims. We saw good stuff on stage. Definitely was pulling off this weird pick, and you guys were looking really good as a team. It ended up not looking very good on the second half. So just kind of my first question is, what was the team doing in the second half of the split? How was your morale? How easy was it to actually continue performing and trying to make changes and stuff?
yeah, so the first half, everyone I think was really excited because we had a really bad like spring split, and we were like, wow, we have more wins already than we do in the second half than we did in the whole split. So like it was really high highs, but I feel like we fell short a lot with how we practiced and what we got out of every day like going forward. I feel like a lot of times we didn't get the most out of each individual day, and I felt like we were falling behind slowly, even though like our players I feel like are still good. I feel like we couldn't mesh in the best way possible like to keep up form for the rest of the split, and it kind of just like hurt us slowly. We couldn't get wins. We just like kept messing up one thing, we just couldn't improve on another thing, and then we just kind of collapsed as a whole overall. So
Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate for sure. I know that you guys actually ended up making a lot of changes, especially kind of in the second half of the split. We saw lots of staffing and other organizational changes. I'm going to reference Darshan a couple times because I just talked to him, and they're in a similar situation, top lane, kind of, on these really rough losing streaks. He mentioned that they didn't make enough change, and you guys made a lot of change, and you kind of had a similar result. Do you feel like through all of these changes, maybe that was actually something that was holding you back, that it could have been really big, it could have been extremely helpful, but it just didn't turn out? Or do you think that that was still like a very necessary thing, and it just wasn't maybe enough?
yeah, I think since we weren't finding what we needed to in practice, I think changes kind of had to be taken. If it was players, if it was staff, it was just something. Someone had to like take the hit, I guess, just because how things were going consistently. Like our week-to-week practice wasn't good. We just weren't improving at the pace like we all wanted to, and like everyone saw it, and we just needed something. And it's really hard to find something middle of the split that's going to click instantly. And at that point too, like if we get a new staff, we're going to be like getting coached by someone new, which Inero did a really good job helping us these last 2 weeks. But on top of that, like switching a player is really hard in the middle of the split. Like all this energy you built and like communication you built the whole split is just kind of a waste. And like things you do, picks you take, and just a lot of things get really hard to execute. But I think we made the best out of our situation with all the changes that did happen. But it just sucks that we couldn't get any wins, because I felt like these last 2 weeks we did actually improve a lot and work on things, but it was just kind of too late at that point.
Yeah, it was definitely a bummer. Luckily for CLG, I know you just played them, but they got to kind of get some of that redemption. Sorry that you guys couldn't get that. You do have a long offseason ahead of you to kind of think on some stuff. I expect to see, some other things happen for you guys. I want to talk about the top lane for a second, though. I feel like, as a non-top laner, non-analyst or whatever, but watching the top lane this season, I feel like there has been pretty big performances from a lot of players. Obviously, Someday is really turned on. And then Licorice, has been very consistent and very good for his team. Even when Cloud9 was losing, Licorice was very solid. And then we have Solo, who's really kind of stepping up, and a bunch of other people who have been here. And you've been here for a while and have been talked about as a really good top laner. And each season is like, this is going to be Lourlo's season. Do you feel like it's getting harder and harder every season? Like it's always your season, but it's everyone else's too. How is it trying to compete in the top lane right now?
Honestly, yeah, I think top lane competition has gone up. Like people have definitely gotten better. It's not like in 2016, I felt like a lot of the laners were like pretty bad back then, and no one really knew how to play correctly, but they kind of just had mechanics, so they kind of pulled away with it. But nowadays, it's like people are playing lanes how they should be played, picking things in the right situation for the most part, and the competition is definitely getting harder. But I feel like nowadays the game has evolved really to a team game, and just like even how you pick, like if you pick a champion, like say Rumble or something, you have to like go first tower top or just anything that just strictly plays for that side, then the other side's gonna get hurt. So it's like there's a lot of situations where even just from draft, like it can change the whole game. So it's way more team involved right now and not so much more individual, I feel like. So if you pick like an Aatrox, you're probably gonna be playing to the Aatrox side. If you're picking like a Heimerdinger Fiddle, you're probably gonna be playing to that side. So it just really depends on how you pick and how you play around it, because it really like shapes the game, because the individual outplays are, I feel like, smaller right now.
Okay, yeah, that's good insight. And of course, you guys did pick the Heim Fiddle a lot, so maybe you were receiving a little less of that help. Maybe your name would have been in there with someday if you were on. Well, I guess he was on Mundo a lot, but. So yeah, we saw a lot of Gnar from you, and we saw a couple of games where you were really performing very well. There was one game in particular where you had like 3 or 4, like 4 or 5 man ults in a row. So are you confident still in your performance and your ability to kind of keep up with the game, at least just as an individual?
Yeah, I definitely am confident. I don't think my skill individually has gone below any, like really below any like the top tier teams. So I really feel like going into next season that I'll be able to perform versus anyone, and I'm excited for what next season has to offer. So
good, that's good to hear. And hopefully this off season you can kind of take a mental break and really get back into form, start stomping on some people. So good luck. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about before we go? Words to the fans or anything else that you want to say about the team and this year?
Yeah, I just like to thank all the new GGS fans and people that follow me for like my past 3 years as a pro. It's been some high highs in the beginning and like recently a lot of low lows. So I appreciate anyone that's been sticking with me the whole time and just following me throughout this journey. I hope next year brings better and more success. Thank you.
For sure. Thank you for that. Thank you guys and all the supporters. Before we go, I'm going to challenge you to one more game of rock, paper, scissors. I have a terrible win rate, so good luck. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh.
It keeps happening. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. To find more, you can click some off to the side. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, we really appreciate that. And comment below, I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking. Thank you so much for your part in that. We'll catch you next time.